In anticipation of the Daytona 500 on Sunday night and directly following the duels of this Thursday night, the World Center of Racing is the site of the future of simulation and its racers. The eNASCAR iRacing Road to Pro qualifying series kicks off as Daytona International Speedway, and fresh faces clash with the tenured veterans of simulation racing for an 80-lap kickoff to find out who's worthy of joining the upper echelon of oval sim racing and who will wait another year to take the test. From the broadcast booth, it's myself, David Kreutzen, alongside a special guest in tonight's showing, a former second split Road to Pro driver himself, Wyatt Tinsley, driver of the Kansas City Pioneers, number 20 in the iRacing Oval World Championship Series, and a mix of new and old here tonight, and we're especially excited for this one. The Road to Pro only way up into the top echelon of iRacing, and you have to eventually find yourself as the top 20 drivers, the best 20 in this qualifying procedure. To start, it's an open night tonight. Anyone with an A-class license is eligible to find themselves in the hunt, and then it becomes a race between the top 70 drivers in the second round of the Road to Pro series, and then you get the best 20 drivers from this series facing up against the bottom 20 in points in the Coca-Cola series, and they face off to get into the Coke series for what could be up to $300,000 in prizes when they head to the top series in motorsport in the virtual realm, iRacing, presenting it right to you. And Tinsley, as we mentioned before, you're here for the first time, and you have your stories and your anecdotes from the second split last year. A driver who happened to be in it. We have him tonight. Wyatt Tinsley, can you take it away? How are your thoughts going into this one?
Yeah, it should be a great race tonight. There's a lot of people that are in second split today, and they have been racing for a while, and there's some newcomers. I'm just honored and grateful to be here and to be able to watch a great race tonight, and ready to get going.
Absolutely ready to get going. We have a lot of ex-Coke faces in this race. Kyle Peddle, Ashton Crowder went to the top of the board for a while, as it looks like Will Cooley going to go there, as right now the pack is not the priority. As you can see, drivers right now are currently taking the track just to get some single car runs in, and this single car run will determine where you are at the start of this event. Of course, you want to start on that coveted pole position. Make yourself home up front, and if you can't do that, well, you don't have the best shot at the victory at the tail end of it. And that is what it's all about, qualifying here and now, as Octavio Rondaletto going to go into 8th on the board, and with a sea of faces that we've seen beforehand, how will it be for all these drivers to manage it time after time and eventually find themselves up front at the tail end of the race? We still see 1 minute and 31 seconds remaining on the board here. So we're looking at Brad Davies there, Noah Bitstow, some guys we've seen since the day one of the top series in iRacing, and some guys coming here for the first time. So Tinsley, as someone who came through it last year, how will it be for these guys meshing for the first time before the season gets underway here at Daytona?
It's gonna take a lot of patience and just understanding your truck. And it's the first race of 7 races, and the first race is always a make or break. Well, it's not always a make or break. There's always 6 more races after the 7th race or the first race. So it's going to be interesting how patient these guys take, and how understanding they are for the truck.
And absolutely, patience is key at a track like Daytona, as right now we see the aerial shot. How do we get some track analysis before we get this one underway for sure? 2.5 miles here, Daytona International Speedway in Daytona Beach, Florida. Opened in 1959 for the Daytona 500, replacing the Daytona Beach circuit itself. 4 turns, and they have banking as high as 31 degrees. A tri-oval with an 18-degree banking, and the back straightaway is banked as well with 5 degrees on the backstretch, and these guys can get up to 185, 190 miles an hour. It's going to be up to 3 overtime finishes allowed, and 3 tire sets for tonight's 80-lap event, 200 miles, and a pit road speed of 55 miles an hour. And so it begins, qualifying here in the eNASCAR iRacing Road to Pro qualifying series, and the lights are going to go out here at Daytona, and the World Center Racing getting ready. As you can see, the sun is setting as we get the show on the road. It will be time to grid already. It is all about it now, as we're going to get qualifying on the board here and see who's starting where, as guys such as John Jenkins lining up at the top of the board. So let's get your qualifying positions in order here before we get to the show. So Tinsley, before I get him up, how important is qualifying here at Daytona?
Qualifying is not as important as you would think it'd be, but in these trucks, how compact they are and how tight racing you are up at the front, qualifying is the most important here at Daytona.
And there we have it. And as we get it underway, everyone loading into this one. And the starting grid goes as follows. Justin Smith with a 51.378. Going to follow John Jenkins with a 51.379. 1,000th of a second separates the top two guys in qualifying. And if you want any proof that these are the best in the business, there you have it. 1,000th to separate your starting grid. Then we look on. Nate Stewart in third. And a 51.385 and a 396 for Lawson Peel in fourth, and Will Cooley in fifth, Angel Phillip in sixth, and Jake Matheson, a former Coke driver himself, with a 51.5 flat, as Matthew Batby in eighth on the board with a 51.523. Then Matt Danson ninth. Brad Davies, the runner-up in the inaugural Coca-Cola Series Championship, is back again. Davies has been here since day one, race one, and he's getting ready to get himself back in this field. A driver for Junior Motorsports alongside the legendary Michael Connie for so many years. That dynamic duo might just come back into fruition so long as Davies makes the cut. Dallas Patsaka going to be in 11th, and Jonathan Delaney going to be in 12th, as Kevin Champagne's in 13th and Matt Kemp's in 14th. Then Clayton Hoffman, position number 15, Octavio Rondolevano in 16th, Ashton Crowder 17th, and Kyle Petto in 18th, with Kenny Hump in 19th and Joe Solis Jr. in 20th. Noah Bitts 21st, Jake Sylvia in 22nd, Dustin Montgomery position number 23, and Chris Wilde is going to be in 24th. Then we got Dan Shamoon, Eugene Mazgunov, Santiago Tires, Steele Langford in 28th. Then Ethan Lane, the first driver to not qualify and use iRacing to get up there, and Devon Hall in 30th. Logan Crest 31st, Zeke Willis in 32nd, and Casey Kelly in 33rd, with David Robinson 34th, and Joseph Troy as a final driver in this field, rounding out 35 incredible drivers. And the talent in this field, undeniable. And everyone is so close to what's it going to be to get the edge here in the first round of the Road to Pro Series.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting sight here tonight as these drivers roll off a pit road and are able to come down the backstretch here to start the final pace lap as we go. It's going to be 80 laps tonight. It's going to be a great race. Justin R. Smith is starting P1, and it's just about patience and kicking off some of these laps until we get to pit stops.
And the deliberation and strategy, and I apologize. Go on.
Pit stops are normally, fuel is going to be about 35 to 38 laps, and there's going to be some strategy between drivers. Pit road speed, about 55 mile an hour. There is 3 sets of tires for these drivers. Yeah, it's going to be a great race as we come out of turn 4.
And coming out of turn 4, indeed, the deliberation and strategy as drivers already get set to think about what their next move is, as Justin Smith on the pole position for the first round of the hunt for the Coke Series. $300,000. It's what they're all chasing, but they've got to be consistent, and this is where it all begins. The pace car off for the first time this year, and the 2023 eNASCAR iRacing Road to Pro Qualifying Series is underway, and we are good to go here at Daytona, and everyone files down through as it's going to be led by the driver of not the number 14. As everyone filing through, it is Justin Smith with John Jenkins already double file so far, 1 lap in out of 80, and it is the first of which as we get this thing on good to go. And you can see the driver of the 13 machine has that edge. The remainder of the field just going to be sitting ducks right now, and this is what it all comes down to. Patience early is what it needs. To be a successful driver in this series, you need to have some patience, as no driver here choosing to start on pit road, and that's a difference with something like C-Fix. A lot of these guys practice in C-Fix, and for the guys not familiar with the iRacing formula, if you are going to get into the iRacing ranks, the C-Class is the equivalent of the NASCAR Truck Series, the B-Class 650, and the A-Class, the NASCAR Cup Series. So if you want to practice these trucks, you got to run an awful lot of C-Fix, and that's how you know some of these guys got the practice that they needed. They're already sitting up front right now, as all about qualifying, and the drivers like Smith and Jenkins have that edge so far. The driver of the 13 in specific up in the front, Justin Smith leading them down to that first lap as it's about 3 wide in the back of the field here. Everyone representing a different thing. The Road to Pro banners, the Craftsman banners, the Camping World banners, as these trucks, no matter what they are barreling down the front straightaway. It's 2 Chevys being pushed by 2 Chevys, and right now manufacturer dominance, and it looks like it could be teamwork in play, as you can see a lot of team liveries throughout the entirety of this field. So Wyatt, as a member of a team yourself, how important is it to have that assistance as the night goes on?
It is the utmost importance to work with your teammates and be able to actually be working with your teammates and just having an overall strategy and plan. There are some teammates in this race that are all connected to each other. Some teammates like Jake Matheson and Ethan Lane are all part of Tranquility, and Matt Kent is a part of North's Force. And it's just about working with each other and overall being there at the end.
And certainly being there at the end is what these guys want to achieve, as right now barreling down these turns. So far, been very clean, been a very delicate procedure here, coming down past the super stretch up to the front straightaway. Once again, only 3 wide, a few rows deep in the middle there. As we look a bit far back, Ethan Lane starting in the back of the field there. He's already on the high side, and look at the 3 machine roll. He started in the 29th position, and right now he's lined up with the driver of the number 33 machine in Angel Philip. Now it's going to be Logan Kress, as Angel is going to be in that 10th machine. And now it looks like the 23 goes with the 3, and they will move past as everyone shuffling for position. Brad Davies in the 8th position himself right now, mixed up in a 3 wide shuffle with Lane and the 7 of Will Cooley there. And Brad Davies, as we mentioned beforehand, a driver who's been here since the beginning, an independent driver in the 2010 eNASCAR Drivers World Championship Series for the oval side. He came home second in points, an illustrious career for the driver of the 15 machine, and it's unfortunately been over a season since we've seen him up there in the Coke Town, as we see a big drop up there. One driver losing a lot of spots, it's Ashton Crowder, and Crowder himself an ex-Coke driver, as the 8 machine going to fall to the back of the back there, gets split 3, and it looks like something arrived for the driver of the number 8 machine, as that's going to be a big loss of spots, and now going to be passed by Zeke Willis in the number 24. As you look up to the front of the pack, now they're getting single filed out. We saw this last year in the Road to Pro Series. Guys with so much talent, so much ability and capability throughout all these races sometimes choose to lay low to start this one off, and that's exactly the choice being made by a good majority of these guys as they all pull off. Now it's about top 10, 15 guys out in front, making it a double file race, but besides that, we can see guys in the back who have sponsorships, who have things to race for, out there just biding their time now. As we look just a bit further back, 25th spot, you can see it's already going to be a single file affair. Logan Kress up there as he's right in front of the Magoni setup shot machine of Jonathan Delaney, as Kyle Peddle now going to be in this mix, as the curb sponsor number 34 of Dallas Paxaka going to be right there as well. Delaney there with Logan Kress, and you could see the best guys in the business getting double file up front, and even though they're not all too antsy to get up to the front and win this immediately, knowing they can't win this at lap number 6, it's all about the delicacies of strategy, and right now running this fuel cell out. And this fuel load, the first of which, and for a guy like John Jenkins, well, he's led every lap, he's burning more fuel. So Wyatt, I'm going to have to ask you this, as someone who drove in this event last year, how important is it to save your fuel coming to what could be an all-green race?
It is last year my race went green all the way, and it is important to have enough fuel to be able to make it to that number where you want to be and not have it a 2-stop race. Since the fuel range is about 35 to 38, it is interesting how these drivers will split the stage or the race in a half or 2 pit stops. Now, about a lap or 2 ago, Logan Kress hit the wall coming in the tri-oval in the 1, and he has since fallen back all the way to the back of the pack, and he is currently looks like he has right side damage. Now, it is going to be essential for him to be able to get that fixed, or just ride around and keep toe with the draft as we head in completing lap 7.
And now we're up to lap 8. As you said, Crest does appear to have some visual damage, not all too much, and he still is on the pack here, but Logan Crest getting a bit antsy there with Ethan Lane, and now it does not appear to be playing in his favor. Certainly a lot of time to recover, but the driver of the 23 machine is in the tow, and that's where he wants to be, as John Jenkins still leads this field of what looks to be 35 drivers strong. Everyone is wrapped up within 4 seconds, and the strength of this field, it is undeniable. Everyone going to keep pushing through there as Jenkins still going to be able to hold on, and the number 26 still up on top. Justin Smith in second there. Nate Stewart is in position number 3 as Lawson Peel now is in 4th, and he's going to try to peel his way up to the top of the track as he has the number 25 Sunoco machine right in front of him. And Sunoco gas, of course, used in NASCAR, and right now he's pushing that fuel load to the limit as he gets out to the front of the field. It is the 26 still leading the 25 as Justin Smith takes a slight back seat, and there he goes right behind your leading pack here as it's about double file inside and outside, and right now they're dead even, and we saw in the Coke Series, and of course you ran in that event toward the tail end of the race. Everyone went to the high side and just waited there, biding their time, in any attempt on the inside line or the less powerful line, whichever it was, always stalled out, and they always lost position. Right now, you can see 3 wide again, and look at Ethan Lane go. How about that kid in the number 3 machine? Lane is on the move, and he has Matt Danson in the number 1 right behind him, and Danson up in this field, and it appears when it comes to I rating, he is about the highest seed with a 7,035 I rating. How about that? And that just shows these guys are oh so close. He might have the highest I rating, but I rating is not always indicative of race performance. You could say in the lower splits, maybe it is with guys at like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 I rating. It's a lot closer when it comes to the metric of quality of driving and I rating. But right now, when everyone is so close and separated by only a few hundred I rating, it's impossible to tell who's better and who is not by a single metric. It just isn't the way that it goes. And that is the case once again here as John Jenkins still holding fort as we strongly go into lap number 11, this time by completing 10. That is the move, and we can go down to the stripe once more. The 26 hole holds on to Nate Stewart, and there we go once again as the 26 now has a clear and dear advantage. 11 laps in, so Wyatt out in front. How would it be up front compared to being in the back?
It is just being up front is much different than being back where Matt Danson and Ethan Lane are on the outside trying to make way down the backstretch here, trying to get to the front from their qualifying efforts. Now, it is easy to be in John Jenkins' spot right now because he is currently leading the inside lane, comfortable. Same thing with Nate Stewart. He is comfortable on the second lane. Now, Ethan Lane and Matt Danson and it looks like Ashton Crowder are looking to maybe get this third lane started so they can make their way to the front.
And the third lane, it is a risk, but for a guy like Lane, it might just be worth taking as Brad Davies on the side-by-side train with the driver of the number 3, and Ethan Lane certainly trying to make it happen on that third lane, and it looks like he's going to be one of those guys who just has the aggression to make it happen no matter where he is. John Jenkins currently leading with Justin Smith there as well, and Nate Stewart in third as they book down the back straightaway. Once again, Will Cooley going to be there in the 4th spot, and Lawson Peel is in 5th. Jake Matheson is in 6th, and these ex-Coke guys are finding their way to the top like it is nothing. And it looks like that experience, that expertise with being some of the best guys in the business is helping them out once again, and it is evident that having that experience is an advantage here as Matheson finds his way up into the top 10 in that number 527 machine as Matheson barrels in, and now the inside line has a clear advantage no matter what it seems to be. The inside has that edge, and the inside line, as we have mentioned in many broadcasts beforehand, the distance is less. You cover less distance when you're racing on the inside line compared to that outside, and right now momentum is disheveled on the outside. Nate Stewart, who is leading the Ford on the outside line, is about a car length and a half back, and side draft equation here. Let's ride on board with the driver of the number 25 machine. Look at the hood camera, and you can see he's just keeping his line, keeping it nice and straight. Not a lot of big movement so far. It's a delicate balance for the driver of Nate Stewart so far as he keeps it intact and comes down to the stripe with a lot of barreling power. As Stewart goes there with John Jenkins once again, you can see that it's all it takes to keep himself up front, just going side by side, car length to car length, and now it's going to be clean skies once again. Riding aboard with the driver of John Jenkins, and Jenkins right now has everyone right behind him. An intense shot as the sky is dark and the sun has almost entirely set. It is the 26 machine holding fort here, 14 laps in out of 80, and almost we've gone through the good majority of this one so far. Green, all green, and the skies, they're clear, as well as the driving. As you can see, the driver to number 26 holding on with Smith there in that second spot, Nate Stewart in third, Will Cooley in fourth, and Lawson Peel is in the fifth position. Jake Matheson is now going to be down in position number 6. As you can see, one goes down to the inside line there. It's going to be 19 as Kyle Peddle will be right beside the 31 of Kevin Champagne. Kyle Peddle, who used to drive for eRacer in the Coke Series, looking to make it back up this year. And the driver, I believe formerly of the 69, is looking to have a nice run here just to get himself a solid cushion in points. Let's talk about points for a moment here. The second split of this championship, and while that's incredibly high up and is valued more than almost every split, a win here is like a podium finish in top split. So you have guys in top split you're competing with. It's not just a race between the 35 guys you have in this session. It's a race between every driver in the Road to Pro ladder, no matter where they are in it. Be it bottom split. Say you win bottom split, that's like better than being last, of course, here. But you have such a big advantage on iRacing that you have sort of a boost as guys are going in already. Look at that. That's going to be Angel Phillip leading a small pack of drivers down. First pit cycle, it's already going. Kyle Peddle there with Jonathan Delaney, Santiago Tires. Now it looks like Eugene Mozganov going to be there as well, and Jake Sylvia. Now we're seeing strategy already and coming in this early. Now that is a big decision, and I'm not sure about that one. Wyatt, how's it going to be compared to doing the full half race strategy? Is it better to just be safe now rather than sorry later?
Yeah, it looks like these guys have committed to doing the two-stop strategy where you come in early, around 16 to 20 lap into the race, and you take fuel only, and then you just ride around and try to make as much lap time as you can until you have to pit again, probably around lap 55 to 60. As Matt Danson and some other cars are coming in as well. Matt Danson, Kristen Wright.
Go around. Wow, it's a big spin. And Kenny Hump with the first incident of the night. Sorry to cut you off there, but Kenny Hump going to have the first incident of this season. And it's a 360. He's able to recover it with grace, but he just goes in too hot. And the driver of the 6 machine is along for the ride from there, and that is not going to be good. His race might be in jeopardy after that one. And how big is a spin like that on pit road?
It is crucial. If you spin out on pit road, you could either have a black flag or just lose the pack and just be, if the race goes green, you could just be in a pickle situation coming down the line. And now, last year, I sped on pit road, but and the race went green and I wasn't able to recover. But, and yeah.
And how about that? And you can see Matt Denson already on the move here, 18 laps in of 80, and he's caught up to the drivers such as Agnell Phillip, Chris Wilde, Steele Langford, and now it is all about these guys up front trying to make it happen as they have the pack already forming. And it looks at that second pack with a bit more momentum, going to go around to the outside, and they believe they have what it takes to make that maneuver, and that they will. Look at them go. Now it's going to be all about recovery for this second group, no matter who's in it, as Dan Shamoon going to be there as well as guys come down pit road again. Now it's going to be Santiago Tires. The 8 machine of Ashton Crowder goes around. He's going to be on the track, and he is not moving. This could be jeopardy.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
In the middle of the...
And that is the big one in the middle of the track, as you said, Ashton Crowder involved in the first wreck of this season. And this one is huge.
This is a big wreck.
How about that? We're going to take it back and take the instant replay on the matter. Unbelievable. Now, you could see by this point, Ashton Crowder already around, so let's take a brief replay and rewind it to what is our first wreck of this season, and Crowder involved in this one. And why? Can you break that one down? Because this is a huge one to start this one off.
Yeah, it looks like the second pack that pitted before everyone else pitted, it looks like just a stack up on the bottom lane, and the 2-car of Steele Langford just hit Ashton Crowder and sent him sideways into, it looks like the 12 truck, and he just spun out and stopped on the track, and the field could not see him, or he could not react in time, and the field just came out and collected him.
And look at that.
It looks like a 10-car wreck on lap 17 in second split.
And the 18 is flipped over like a can opener, and the 33 involved as well. This one is huge, and Steele Langford absolutely going to be involved, and that one actually gets away from it, and guys get away from it there, but look at this, a huge one. The 31 of Kevin Champagne almost gets involved. Ethan Lane gets all sorts of destroyed, and the big wreck with an ex-Coke driver involved, as this is a smoke show that takes out so many good trucks, and wow, what a wreck avoidant there for some guys like Brad Davies, as Davies gets through that 15, but a huge wreck with Ashton Crowder involved, and this takes out so many good trucks. And this is when strategy becomes just a bit harder to follow. Some guys already came down on pit road trying to get that edge. And this is when it all seems like it's not going to go to plan, and it could be alienating. Let's look back at how Brad Davies got through here, because this is a hard-fought battle. As you can see, the smoke show there backs it down and nice and easy. Some guys on the grass, some guys off it, and he's just able to manage it nice and smooth. The driver of the number 15 makes it by 20 laps in out of 80, and we are still going good and green as Agnell Phillip leads the way in the 10. Strategy played out perfect as John Jenkins came off pit road, and Agnell getting the caution absolutely required for that strategy. So the 10 machine has the edge now. And what would that entail for the strategy that Agnell was trying to pull off? Because it looks like the group that Agnell was leading now has the edge over the remainder of the field, and how will it be holding on to that advantage as the night goes on?
Hey, it looks like Ashton, Jonathan Delaney, Will Cooley, Kyle Peddle, Matt Danson, Noah Blitz, and Chris, and all pitted beforehand and just got lucky with the caution. Now, they were opting to go with the two-stop strategy where they're going to pit again at lap 50 to 55 to 60. Now, this may play out differently because I believe everyone still has one more stop to go. Now, where they may pit again altogether is still the question to be remain. Or will we have more wrecks? Or
Right about that. It's all about whether or not, as Agnell Phillip going to blink out for just a moment. This has just gotten intense. It's a question with variables now. There's no one defined answer on how you race this one from here on out, and Agnell Phillip leads over Jonathan Delaney and Will Cooley with Kyle Peddle in fourth, and strategy just got a wrench thrown at Ashton Crowder. What a wreck that was, and it looks like we already have some drivers retired for the night as guys come down on pit road once again. Back of the field, Steele Langford going to come in there, and guys who might have got damaged there but still think they have a shot. Oh, the 29 is going to have a big incident there. Casey Kelly going to miss the stall and almost hit another driver, but it would not go that way, and wow, big time maneuvers. iRacing has a 3-car tolerance on pit road regarding, of course, not hitting a driver. Looks like Casey Kelly having all sorts of issues as Ethan Lane, Logan Crest, Lawson Peel, and Ashton Crowder are out of tonight's event. Agnell Phillip in first, with Delaney in second and Will Cooley in third. Kyle Peddle in position number 4 and Matt Danson in fifth. And these guys are doing the dance here at Daytona, and finding a dancing partner is especially important. So when it comes to the importance of the draft, 2-car tandems or large packs, what's the way to go here, as we have more and now less than 3/4 of the way remaining?
it's just about being there at the end. A big wreck early is really, really taking a toll on drivers like Ashton Crowder, Santiago Torres, Larson Peel, Octavio, Logan Crest, Ethan Lane, Casey Kelly, Matthew Batby, Devin Hall. They all have damage, and many more drivers have damage in this race. Now it's just about riding and getting the finish that you can get. Still one more stop to go in this race. We still have over 40 laps to go. More than that. 50 or so, 60 or so laps to go. 58.
Absolutely still a long way to go in this race. So guys who did get minor damage, maybe they have the opportunity to bide their time. As we look at the back of the field, looks like Kevin Champagne still in the track. That nose might be all crumpled up, but Champagne, knowing this is Daytona, just has to hold on for the ride and maybe pick up some optional damage repair as the night goes on. As the Trevor number 31 machine pushing through is Dan Shamoon in the number 9. Going to be right there as well, as we actually saw Kenny Hump might have some damage, although it does not look like he does. And Champagne getting past there with David Robertson, as Robertson is going to be now with the pack, and Dustin Montgomery there as well. So it looks like 20-odd drivers do not have damage so far. So a good amount of the guys in this field still have the opportunity to win it without some damage. And it could be all about setups now, because strategy, while the crucial part of this race, It could come down to the way your team set up your truck, and there are disparities. And I was talking to Benjamin White, who I actually believe is your spotter in the Coke Series, and I was able to talk to him wide, and he had a lot of insight. The setups might not be a big difference here, but with damage like that, it's all about making the right adjustments here and now. So if you don't make them, you are going to be at a big disadvantage, as we have half a lap until the green flag. Do these guys up front have a better setup, or is it just about the luck of the draw or qualifying as well?
Yeah, Brad Davies just came down pit road with the black flag. I'm not sure if he got a jumping the restart or if he just didn't pass the pace car or passing in a yellow, but he just came down pit road to serve a black flag or to park it for the night. I'll keep you updated on that one.
And that's going to be a big story. We're green already, a big shunt there, and we are moving here at Daytona. Back on our way, 23 becomes 24 out of 80, and Brad Davies having trouble as he gets back onto the track, and Davies does not appear to have damage, but he's going to get right up with the field, and Brad not having the best start to tonight and this series, so going to be at a big disadvantage in regards to points if he can't get that lap back, as we're already back double file. The move is the inside line, as it's still going to be Agnell Phillip leading the pack of drivers he brought down, including Jonathan Delaney, Kyle Pettle, and Will Cooley, with Noah Bitts there in the 5th spot. Matt Danzig in 6th, and Chris Willite going to be in the 7th spot. John Jenkins is in 8th there, and these guys are going to go back and forth, wobbling with their positions, as 24 will become 25 sometime soon, and that time is now, as these guys up front are just holding forward and making sure they have what it takes. We see guys in the back right now just holding on to the remainder of the field. The 24 we saw lose a lot of spots beforehand is still with them, and it's going to be Zeke Willis right behind. As you can see, he has some left side damage, but he doesn't seem to be all too affected, as Matt Danson, who almost got caught up in the big one with Ashton Crowder, is up in front now, and you can see Agnell is holding on strong, and nobody appears to be on his level just yet, as Jonathan Delaney is in 2nd, Will Cooley's in 3rd, and Kyle Pettis in 4th. Matt Danson going to be rounding out your top 5, and Noah Bitts is now going to be side by side with him, as the Garza Law Form 16 machine going to be laying down the law and making himself home. As you can see, Ethan Lane's back on the track, and the lap car is going to stay on the inside line, trying to hold on to the back, and it looks like he will be able to do so. No wreck. Everyone's able to avoid anything happening, and it's all about patience, and nobody here making a rush of it, and Lane having trouble holding on to the back regardless. The front end is all beat in, as Brad Davies is going to be lapped down as well in his own world. Casey Kelly will be the last driver, or now the first driver lapped down, getting that pass there on Ethan Lane, as Kelly in the 29, not a lot of damage. We saw that Kelly got involved on pit road, missed pit road by a mile there, and it just did not play out all too well, as Kyle Pettle going to be leading them through in that outside line. He's going to be giving a big push to Jonathan Delaney, and this big push going to be all that's needed for the driver of the 28 machine to hold on strong, and holding forward the driver of the number 19 machine's able to do, as it is still Agnell Phillip in the mix, leading the way with Jonathan Delaney there in 2nd. Now it's getting intense, as Daytona proving to be one of those tracks that these guys can't miss the incidents at. The up front pack got caught up in it and then some last time through. Some guys who avoided the wrecks even got themselves in an issue thereafter. So now 27 to go. Do you think the aggression has gotten a bit lower, or is it all about pushing the limit now, as the max has been set and guys will try to reach it?
It's going to take a little bit more patience, since we still have a little over half the race left. I'm looking at some fuel strategy here, as Jonathan Delaney goes down to the bottom to clear Agnell Phillip, and as Kyle Pettle is now the leader of the 2nd lane. Jonathan Delaney, Agnell Phillip, Kyle Pettle, Noah Blitz, Will Cooley, and Chris Wright all have about 3 to 4 to 5 lap older tires and less fuel than the rest of the field. It's going to be interesting if they all pit together, or if they all try to get clear to the inside lane and all pit at the same time.
And it's certainly going to be very hard to manage strategy like that, but a big important thing about that sort of disparity in fuel and tires, those were caution laps, and some of these guys had to go down pit road, and while they do have a minor advantage, I do believe that with this caution, it might just be less than imagined, as these guys up front, this top 5 or 6, they prayed for that caution or prayed for what have you, and they got exactly what they needed, and now they appear to know what's going on, as the driver of the 28 machine, sponsored by McConey's Setup Shop, taking it up to the point, as the driver of Jonathan Delaney leads it over Agnell Phillip and Kyle Pettle there as well. Will Cooley's going to be in 4th, as Noah Bitt's going to run them down to the line once again. And coming down, Delaney still leads. Kyle Pettle, the ex-Coke driver, is in 2nd, and a lot of ex-Coca-Cola talent here tonight making themselves known, and these guys are professionals at the business. They're able to run themselves through the ladder here quite nicely. Now, of course, we have said that the talent level here is incredibly close. Drivers here are about as talented as one another anywhere. They could take out 95% of the iRacers on the oval scene like it's nothing. But you got to remember, even though that is the case, it still comes down to the disparity between the last guy on the field and the first guy on the field. Of course, right now, last position, Ashton Crowder, 12 laps down, so he doesn't really have much of a chance to be compared directly. But guys right now who are holding off in the back, like Octavio Rondoletto, who's trying to keep himself in this race, he's got a big front end damage as the field comes down to the front stretch. These guys with that damage, all that torn up metal, the sheet metal, they just don't have a chance here. And wreck avoidance, one of the factors to being a great driver here on iRacing, is Brad Davies is not giving the guy lapped again. That is Dallas Patsaka, as it looks like the 34 curb machine hit something, maybe not a curb, but he's far off of the leaders right now as the leader pack will come down, and it looks like it's going to be the 34 on the high side, giving these leaders a lot of room, although they might try to sucker home. As you would see, they go just a bit wide, and that might also be a side drafting technique. They're all going to let the 34 go by on the inside line, or now the outside line, as it's still going to be the driver of Jonathan Delaney leading Agnell Phillip and Noah Bitts. So let's talk about some guys we haven't mentioned all too much. Matt Denson and Nate Stewart. We saw Stewart was up front leading that outside line before the first caution, and now he's side by side with Danson, who appears to have the highest I rating in this split with almost 7,000 flat, as Danson right now holding off quite nicely as he has that iconic team livery with the Logitech sponsorship on his side. He will keep it moving. He's got the Sunoco 25 right beside him. And we see both of these guys run up front many tracks, many places. And now with the road to pro tensions, how will it be managing it and making sure you stay cool? As we can see, one driver going to blink. John Jenkins going to cause a big shuffle in the back there, and everyone going to go scramble it. They're going to be 3 wide on the apron there. Matheson's going to have to give, and gives big, as it looks like the 27 going to lose all the spots there. The biggest loser, as someone checks up, and that 26 was leading the race beforehand. John Jenkins like a sitting duck, and everyone goes right around him. So how about it? Jenkins going to be the guy they all avoid. So what's it going to take from here on out for a guy like Jenkins to regain that trust? Because trust is a big factor at Daytona.
Yeah, it looks like John Jenkins just had a small internet problem down the backstretch, and it just stacked everyone up. But it looks like everyone was just able to keep it clean and green, and are able to really stack back up and hopefully be able to catch this main pack. As Jonathan Delaney still leads over Kyle Petty on the second lane, and Agnell Phillip here, it's going to be cutting close when they would need to pit. Jonathan Delaney was in the Contender Series last year, did not advance through to the Coke Series. It is going to be interesting how he plays his race, having that experience from last year.
As they go by Ethan Lane, Delaney, as you mentioned, has that experience of being one of the top 70 drivers in the eNASCAR qualifying circuit. And the road to pro, it's an arduous road. And last year, he proved to be one of the best. But you have to be on your A game, and you have to be at the best of the best. And that is a challenge. But right now, Delaney proving he might have just learned his lessons, as he is keeping it nice and smooth now up in the front of the pack. The 28 leads, as Agnell Phillip going to be right there, as well as Kyle Petty on the outside. And that expertise, as we mentioned, going to be a big advantage. As we see some shuffling in the back of the pack, double file. Looks like the 9 and 35 go at it. But as we go up to the front of the field, guys up here who are ex-Coke drivers, ex-Contender Series drivers, or guys with experience on the other professional ranks of iRacing, say the IMSA, the World of Outlaws, what have you, wherever you're coming from, whenever you find yourself in this position, the expertise of running against other great drivers always comes back to you. And that is evident with guys running side by side once again. In most other fields, we see guys going 3 wide. And hell, we might be even seeing that in the bottom splits of Road to Pro right now. Guys just trying to make their attempt no matter where they stand on the iRacing totem pole. But aggression right now, very controlled, very relaxed, as guys like Delaney and Petty know what it's like to be at the upper echelon and see how it is to race hundreds of laps non-stop at Daytona without a yellow. Now, we're not going to get that tonight. We're not going to get a caution-free race. Already one more caution than last year's, but strategy still going to be major, and it's still going to be mostly intact, even if a lot of these guys did pit last time through, as we can still see double file affair. And how about the guys in the single file pack back here? Let's go back and check on some guys. As you could see, driver Jake Sylvia. Why? You got anything for us?
Yeah, it looks like Jake Matheson and everyone that had that stack up a couple laps ago on the backstretch has all caught up back to the field. Now, some unlucky contenders through that. Dustin Montgomery it looks like to be at the tail end of this pack, and if he can hold on to this main pack and able to get up here and maybe make a run at the win. Now we're coming to complete lap 35 here, lap 36, and we are still thinking about fuel strategy as we're coming to the halfway mark.
And the halfway mark would have been the fuel cycle for these guys if we went all the way green. As we mentioned beforehand, the fuel load for these trucks are about 35 to 38 laps of fuel on that cell. So these guys would have about the fuel to go a half run. But now that wrench is in the equation, everyone should be able to do one more stop. And it's all about when you do that stop. Is Brad Davies going to fall down through the field again? The 28th position driver of Davies, not having a great run right now and certainly wishing to be back up front as he goes down 2 laps now, and he'll need 2 cautions to get back into this one. And it looks like it's going to be more and more of a pipe dream for the driver of the 15 as these guys fly by him once again. The road to pro, sometimes it's unforgiving as these guys, including Jonathan Delaney, fly right through him. And it's a different thing between a checkup and just a penalty. As you mentioned, Matheson back here, he got involved with a checkup big time with the driver of the 26 who was leading this race. And now these guys are all in the back of the field. And Matheson holding fort though. And he's going to be able to keep himself in contention even if he almost lost it all. As you can see, the virtual stands are packed here at Daytona as 37 laps in out of 80. And iRacing Road to Pro qualifying series providing great action. Round 1. Let's look at the rear view once again for the driver who's leading this race. This time it is Jonathan Delaney. And you can see he has the bumper put to him by the driver of Noah Bitts now, I believe, as he has his bumper working hard as ever. The McConey Setup Shop sponsorship is evident with the binary code reading right behind him. This is the 28, the man to beat so far. As you can look up to the top of the track there, Kyle Pettle in the 19 getting pushed as well. And it looks like outside momentum beginning to harvest itself here. As that time by, Kyle Pettle does lead the lap, and Pettle makes it through. A nice job there as he goes down to the inside line. And this is unprecedented. Now, this is one of those things in strategy which will come back to bite you. You see an opportunity in the inside line, most of the time there's a good reason to take it, especially in different aerodynamic packages, say the NASCAR Cup Series or the Xfinity Series. But here in these trucks, and no less in the Road to Pro Series, you want to make friends with everyone no matter how you make it. Imagine if that block had gone incorrectly. The 19 could have made a mistake there, wrecked some guys, had some animosity faced by Jonathan Delaney, and perhaps it all roots back to his teammates. And Kyle Pettle now seeing that Noah Bitts is there, and Bitts leading that outside line on his own now, certainly not going to be happy seeing that the support was lost, and that might come back to bite you at the end of the race when it all comes down to the chaos. Who's going to be the catalyst to get you up front? It's certainly not going to be one of those guys you left stranded earlier on into this race. As Chris Wilhite going to be there as well. Kenny Hump is going to be in the 10th spot. And a sea of drivers running their way up to the top is right now it's a game of shuffling. Up front, they're shuffling like cards as everyone getting their time in the sun right now. As it looks like now Kenny Hump going to be outside of the top 10 only slightly. Matt Danson is in 9th. And look at this, Kevin Champagne in the top 10 with a busted up truck. And the front and the rear end are smashed in on the 31. And nonetheless, he's making it happen. And the damage is not going to stop him. He will not be denied. As Ethan Lane going to get lapped again there. Lane is trying everything to make it happen. But that time through, Ethan Lane now going to become a 7-lap down entrant. And of the drivers on the track, he is the lowest in position. Brad Davies 2 down. And drivers such as Casey Kelly and Dallas Patsaka going to be 1 down. But Lane goes 7 laps down and lap 40 out of 80, just about halfway here. So how will strategy work out for guys up front and guys in the back?
It's going to be interesting how these drivers play out. Kyle Pettle got down to the bottom line to be able to maybe link up with his friends on the bottom lane that they all pitted with. Noah Blitz is one of those drivers that are going to be pitting a lot earlier, but Nate Stewart, he pitted under that last caution and is sitting in the 6th position on the top lane, three cars back. It's going to be interesting as we go to complete lap 40, which drivers, as we are halfway.
And we are halfway. The cross flags, they'll be waving here. As you can see, Nate Stewart on the move in that number 25, and he's going to be up there. The outside line now losing momentum once again. The first 40 have flown by, and now it's all about keeping yourself in the race. Brad Davies in the back of frame right now, so it looks like one of these lap trucks able to hold on to the draft, as still Peddle holding on. One caution tonight. Been a very clean race, but that caution got a guy like Peddle to get the opportunity to keep himself up in front. Jonathan Delaney in second, Noah Bitts is in third, and Agnell Phillip is in fourth, as Chris Wilhite in fifth. The top five all coming from that pit stop, and strategy playing out in their favor, as the lowest guy from that pit cycle, well, it's Matt Danson right now in the 9th spot. So if you took that risk, took that chance, you still have the opportunity to keep yourself out in front. No fast repairs tonight, so the biggest advantage you can get is on pit road. If you're not going to be getting spots in the track, it's a gridlock for the most way. So it looks like now these guys are utilizing different methods of strategy, such as pit road, to make themselves contenders in tonight's event. And it's evident that a guy like Noah Bitts and Kyle Peddle, they're both doing that, as they are double file with Chris Wilhite and Jonathan Delaney. Nate Stewart going to be there with Agnell Phillip, and Will Cooley with Matt Kemp, as Matt Danson is there with Kenny Hump, Steele Langford, Justin Champagne's brother, and Kevin Champagne here tonight. And Kevin putting on a great run for the Champagnes, as Jake Matheson now going to be just outside the top 10, just outside the top 15. And he now is the first driver single filed out, as it's about 7 rows deep of double file racing, as the 14th position driver of Matheson is the first man single file. And you can see we got about 14, 15 guys going to be in this backpack. Ethan Lane going to be almost lapped again, as he's about a half lap down already. And you can see these guys on the inside line just holding fort here, as you want to keep yourself in this mix. The guys one down, such as Casey Kelly and Brad Davies, now in the pack here, as a Junior Motorsport number 15 machine now has a run brewing. Almost lets the 9 machine go that time by, so not sure what's going on, but Brad Davies might just be letting guys go, as certainly not in the pack for a position just yet, and they're going to go 3 wide the back there. As you can see, they're still going to be able to keep it clean, the entire field in frame, as they come down the line once again. Kyle Peddle still holds them all off here, and it looks like he's got some magic in that truck tonight, as Joseph Triola, now it's going to be Joseph Troya in the 35, making the move in the Superflow number 35. You can see the rear end is bent up just a bit on that Superflow 35, but he has a Superflow regardless, and he's going to be able to keep himself in the mix, as Davies hauls back once again. It looks like it's all about drafting in the back of the pack, no matter how intense you go at it. Now, these guys in the back are not pushing each other, as it looks like Delaney and Peddle push each other down the backstretch. And these are very sensitive trucks. Whether it's a Tundra, F-150, or Silverado, you have to be very delicate when you push. And how important is that specificity in pushing? Because it looks like we've seen some wrecks already from some miscalculated actions. Contact might have been causing.
Yeah, and it looks like there's no one trying to do the third lane as we get closer to maybe green flag pit stops once again. Kyle Peddle, Noah Blitz, Jonathan Delaney, Chris Wright, Agnell Phillip, and Will Cooley, Matt Danson, all looking to maybe pit within the next 10 laps to maybe get to the end of the race. As Noah Blitz is getting pushed by the number 11 truck, it just looks like they're still hanging easy, but the number 11 truck does look like he has a little bit of front end image. Maybe he cannot push as well as Noah Blitz can to Kyle Peddle, so maybe that's why the top lane is struggling to not be able to get a run and clear the number 16 of Noah Blitz.
And that might be indicative of the outside line having a bit less momentum now. It's back and forth, depending on where you look at it. And Kyle Peddle, who knows this, is fighting there with Jonathan Delaney, as Noah Bitt's going to be there as well. 35 laps to go here. And these guys up in front, it all comes down to pushing, as the outside line has been a bit weaker all race long. And Bitt's now getting the push that he needs. And it's coming just a bit later than we expected, as Noah Bitts now leading the outside line, as Chris Wilhite has those guys on lock. And look at that, Nate Stewart now going to be able to make his way up. And Stewart, as we mentioned beforehand, running up front, but now in those top 3 rows, and the outside gets that edge on the front straightaway. So it looks like it is all about turning tides. Sometimes the outside line has the advantage, and sometimes it is the inside. But now it looks like it's going to be a benefit to the outside. We'll see whether or not that inside line is going to be able to take it back that time through. Now we have a wreck. And it's going to be a big one as we turn away from it. It's going to be your second caution of the night, and everyone in the backfield going to be involved. Zeke Willis there, and we will take it back to an inside look. with that replay. Ethan Lane might have got caught up in it, but Zeke Willis definitely going to be one of those guys. Let's take a quick look back and find out, as it looks like one of these guys just gets pushed there, and that is going to be the driver of the number 5. Clayton Hoffman getting a bit squirrely off a push from the 21. Everyone moving up the track to avoid Ethan Lane, and Lane on that inside, not contact with anyone. 9 of Dan Charmoon getting up there with Zeke Willis, and they all wreck, touching each other. The 21 gets out of it luckier than anyone else there, and Ethan Lane getting an opportunity to get one lap back, but Devin Hall getting by the incident that he got involved in. Now you could see the wreck ensues as a big hit there. Back of the field, the Dan Shamoon machine goes for a violent ride, and he ends up in the infield. Casey Kelly going to be there in the back of the field, gets out of it, and the 4 of Eugene Ozganov going to have some front end damage, and now tides have turned once again. As you can see, Kyle Petto out in front, and this will bring the field down to pit road, surely. And if everyone goes down this time by, fuel strategy and tire strategy should be almost out the window. How's that going to play out? Because these trucks might just be a bit more sensitive than other trucks or cars on the service.
Yeah, it looks like all fuel strategies went out the window. Clayton Hoffman may have gotten a little loose in 1 and 2 there and came down and clipped. I believe it was one of the trucks back there and just kind of got over free and hit Ethan Lane as the field was lapping. But as Kyle Petto, Noah Bliss, Jonathan Laney, Agna Phillip, Chris Whitehouse in the top 5 as they all come down pit road, it's about maximizing on and off of pit road to getting spots.
And it is all about maximizing your exit and entry. And the exit going to be especially important as guys roll in. It looks like it's going to be all smooth sailing in the back of the field here. And we will see if the winner off be the same guy as the one who wins on. As you can see, guys coming in such as the 26 there in John Jenkins. And then it's going to be Justin Smith there as well. So Petto going to be on the move. Petto to the metal here. Some guys could be calculating microscopically as 3 wide to the line. It looks like it will be Noah Bitts, maybe. As you can see, everyone coming off now. And it was 3 wide as they keep going there. And everyone rolls off in style. Ethan Lane going to be on the move as it looks like Kyle Petto gets the edge.
He made a mistake. Kyle Petto missed his box, and he will have to go back down pit road. And it looks like Noah Blitz will be your leader off the pit road, and this is timed.
Unbelievable. Noah Bitts gets the job done. Then Kyle Petto goes down pit road, misses his stall, and takes the lap lead. Unbelievable. Brad Davies could be the man up there now in that 15. And a miscalculation. We're going to take it back to an instant replay and see whether or not that is the case, although I don't believe so. And it is a big move there. He does win off pit road technically, but it comes at a cost. He doesn't take a stop at all. So the driver of the 19 machine and Kyle Petto caught up in the action, and he's going to miss his stall, and it looks like he just soars right through, so not good. And he tries to make it, and he just blows right through, and that will set his strategy awry. And how about that? We have a bit of time here as we get back to the action. 32 laps to go. Brad Davies and Kyle Petto will pit as Noah Bitts is your race leader, and we will take an iRacing advertisement break, and we will be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
As we get back to the action here, getting back to the live feed here at the Daytona International Speedway, and it is Nate Stewart on the high side. But as we focused on beforehand, Noah bits the leader for Garza Law Firm, and right now 31 laps to go. It will be 30 by the time we get down to the stripe. These first 50 laps characterized by 2 yellows and an abundance of action-packed moments as our second wreck comes as Ethan Lane on the inside line. Some guys just panic a bit too much as this could be the final restart of the night. Strategy has been reset and guys getting their final opportunity to get it done. Let's get back onto this one as we look up from the flag stand here. Green flags out once again. 31 laps to go. We become 30 and we are on a tear here at the World Center of Racing once again. Noah Bitts leads them down and we're back on the move with 30 remaining. Now it is crunch time and fuel strategy out the window. It's gone. Now it's all about playing it to your best ability no matter when you have the opportunity to make a move happen as the 16 leads Agnell Phillip, Nate Stewart, and Will Cooley now in the mix as the 7 machine playing it cool and getting himself back up front, and that is the move you want to make in a situation like this. Everyone getting back up to speed and they are pushing each other for the life of it. As you can see down to the inside line, the 16 has it bumper to bumper. Noah Bitts there and the arrow push is intense, and Kevin Champagne going to be there as well. Damaged trucks, new trucks, they're all up here as they come down the line once again, and strategy being played once more as they come down from the Geico restart zone to the start-finish line once again. The iRacing Road to Pro qualifying series continues to put on an action-packed show as Noah there with Nate, and they're double file for only a moment. Now it's going to be the number 16 machine with the edge. Agnell Phillip in second and Nate Stewart is in third. Will Cooley in fourth and Jonathan Delaney is in the fifth spot. Matt Danson in sixth and Chris Willite is going to be in seventh as Kenny Hump is in eighth with Jake Matheson in ninth, and Matt Kemp rounds out the current top 10. It's all tentative and it's all provisional to see how these guys get up front as we see the 35, the driver of Joseph Troya, duck in right behind David Robinson. As you can see, the number 21 Nexus Esport machine right in front as they all barrel down, and it's about double file throughout the entirety of the field. Kyle Petto was up front for oh so long, now caught up in the back of this pack, and he has a bit of trouble that he's dealing with. He was up front for so long, getting used to that clean air up in the front. So when it comes down to being in the front of the pack and going down to the back due to their strategy call, how hard is it to adjust compared to what it was like beforehand?
It's difficult when you make big mistakes like that. It's just hard to overcome. I'm curious to see who's going to be the first one to go to that third lane and get to the front as fast as possible to have a shot at the win. I'm thinking Kyle Petto is going to be one of those guys that are going to make that third lane work.
And that is possible. We only saw the third lane in one instance beforehand. Ethan Lane, part of the group, playing it hot there. And while they did not cause an incident involved with Ashton Crowder there, then we saw a huge one as the driver, the 8 machine, getting involved with Ethan Lane, and Lane on that third lane for oh so long, just not able to make it happen at the tail end of it, and eventually it all came to a head, and the first wreck of the night occurred. So right now it's Noah Bitts with Nate Stewart as 54 laps into this one. We have a total of about 27 trucks on this track, and it's only going to be about 23 on the lead lap as Eugene Mozganov getting to the final of which, so 22 appear to be in the pack as it stands, and even Steele Langford is not all too close to that pack as Langford is about 15 seconds out from your race leader. So it's going to be a troublesome battle right now as it looks like only about 21 drivers in that lead lap are stuck to the leader, and it's going to be 1 second separating 21 lead lap trucks as we come down to the stripe once again, and these guys are oh so close as Brad Davies still going to be connected like glue to the back of this one. He's going to be only now a total of just about 1 lap down. So that's going to be a second down, so still losing pace as we speak, and these subdued sort of changes the trucks certainly throw them off balance, and balance is a big thing here in these trucks. You might not see it, they're all trucking around, they are all glued to this track. It almost looks like it. There's a lot going on when it comes to wheel work. Let's watch on board with the driver who is now your race leader. It is Nate Stewart in the number 25 machine as the lights illuminate the track surface, and Nate Stewart making minute handwork, just trying to keep it cool. As you can see, he is only making very, very minuscule adjustments. He's got it in perfect position right now, and it's all about being delicate when you're up front, and if you're not delicate, you're certainly going to fall down to the wayside, and that is not where you want to be, as we will head back to the stripe for what is now a total of 25 laps remaining. And there we have it as we're going to come down and double file still how about this? One of the guys I really want to focus on, Kevin Champagne, as of the guys with damaged trucks like the one they're going to be passing there, the 4 machine. Kevin Champagne with a busted front end of that 31 machine is still holding on strong. And how much concentration does it take to work with a damaged truck like that? Because certainly it means a lot to do so.
It takes a lot of concentration and timing the runs because you are down on straightaway speed having a damaged truck. I am taking a quick peek back here at Kyle Petty, where a lap or two ago he tried to make that third lane work. He just doesn't have any friends or anyone to be able to make that third lane work, get back to the front where he was. As Nate Stewart is on the outside with the 28 truck of Jonathan Delaney pushing him. Noah Blitz on the inside, Agno Phillip, it's still gridlock about 10 rows deep. And then Kyle Petty just by himself on the inside lane back there.
And you can see Kyle Petty in a world of trouble following what was a dominating middle sector of this race. But now with 24 to go, the driver of that number 19 is in a bit of trouble. As we see Davies right there with them. And the leaders going to come back to the line once again. And as they roll through, we power in to what will be 23 laps to go. And 2023, the first race of the eNASCAR iRacing Road to Pro qualifying series. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to crank it up uninterrupted and show you the best simulator that money can buy. It's iRacing, and we hope you enjoy this brief presentation. And as we head back with a total of 21 laps to go, we're still rolling strong here at the high banks of Daytona International Speedway. And Agno Phillip goes up to the high side and now trying to make something happen. Almost door bangs him, but it's going to be Agno up to the top of the board to the point here with 20 laps remaining here in the first round of the Road to Pro qualifying series second split. And don't underestimate drivers based on splits. iRacing, the iRating system is incredible. A way to calculate drivers based on their performance in official races, and it is second to none. But sometimes these guys in the second split, they just can't be underestimated. Sometimes it's chosen that people do so, but you can see that right now these guys have the patience that it takes to be professional drivers as the 3 and 5 go there on the inside line and move past, blowing through the wind, as Ethan Lane going to be passed there with the driver of the number 5 machine, as it will be Clayton Hoffman going 2 laps down. That's his second down, and he's losing more and more time on the leaders, and it becomes that much harder to get up front as the race goes on. It certainly seems like the 5 has a bit of trouble there keeping up with the pack, as the 4 is going to lose some spots. That's going to be Eugene Mozganov off as Eugene's going to be sentenced to the apron, and that's going to doom even an opportunity to get up with the pack there, as a very aggressive entry will not do all too much. Will Cooley going to hold on with Agnell Phillip, now your race leader, 19 remaining, and we're looking right now, guys are getting antsy, but not antsy enough to consider a full panic. All about calculation and concentration as the 34 of Dallas, Pat Saka. We saw him at least a lap down for a good majority of this one, and now Pat Saka is back in this hunt. He's in position number 13 right now as we come to our lap trucks, and some guys get a bit afraid of lap trucks. As you can see, a big move there by the 10 machine who's leading this one, but someone like Pat Saka knows right now it's all about staying calm and collected. It's all about keeping your mind state in the best possible scenario, as he's actually going to be held out 3 wide there with the lap truck, and the 2 does not give in, and they will not be clear. There's going to be a bit of a discontinuation of that draft and a bit of a separation in the back of there, as it's going to be 3 wide with a 2 machine in the mix, as it is still Agnell Phillip with Nate Stewart and Noah Biff, as Jonathan Delaney now up there. He's back in 4th, and these guys who were involved in that incredible strategy call have risen up to the top in their rise there. Well, it's been slower this time through, but they are all up there, and it seems when they had that chemistry going into the pit road for the first time tonight, it's been in their back pocket all race long, and potentially it'll be in their back pocket from here on out. It's all in the cards for a guy up front like Stewart, who's now going to lead him 17 laps remaining here, as the move is all up to the high side, and the high side gets momentum over the bottom for the first time all night long. And now with this newfound momentum, what will it take for a driver to the inside line to diminish it and perhaps get back out front themselves?
It's going to take the outside lane is just really prevailing because John Delaney and Nate Stewart are really connected together. But as Noah Blitz maybe gives a push to Agnell Phillip into turn 3 and 4, it's just about having stacked up this outside lane as the 27 looks low to maybe clear in front of Matt Danson. Thanks otherwise, as Matt Danson is not really caught up to the back of Will Cooley on the inside lane there.
And it's all about being caught up, and we talked about Kevin Champagne and his damage, but this applies to any driver no matter the state that your truck is in. If you don't have the ability to predict and use the runs to your advantage, you will be in no man's land no matter where you think you are on the track. It's just a fact of life in a situation like this. If you can't time runs, you can't time your rise to victory. Guys like the 10 machine working with the 16 rising to the occasion as they're able to hold it out front. We look back there. Pat Saka now going to be right there fighting for 11th. He's so close to David Robinson and Kevin Champagne. Jake Sylvia going to be in the 10th spot right now as he's got Kenny Humper right beside him. And these guys now with 16 remaining know the delicacies of plate racing, and they are showing their expertise in motion. If they come down the line that time by 15 laps remaining here, and the 25 is still going to hold on strong with the 10. And it looks like right now teamwork is what's keeping these guys out front where they are for a good reason. 10 machine can hold on with the 16 right behind him. Noah Pitts has a great working partner with Agnell Phillip, and trust is being developed up front, and trust is a big aspect here in the Road to Pro Series. Now in the Coke Series, it's the same drivers no matter when they race, no matter where they race. It's always going to be that same 40-odd drivers. Maybe there's some substitutions. We've seen that beforehand with drivers like Anthony Berto substituting, but most of the time it is the same collective group. Here in second split, it's not necessarily like that. Of course, these guys all have very similar ratings. They're only spread out by about 400, 500 at the very most, but it still could be you guys coming in and out when they please. But this seems to be the core group that you have to get used to. If you can't trust these guys, you're going to be in a load of trouble. As you can see, the 4 machine going to fly back once again, and that is Eugene Mozganov now going down 3 laps, and he's going to take it down to the inside line. The Budweiser 4 not having the greatest night, and he might need a drink after that one, as David Robertson still going to be able to hold himself up front in 12th, Kevin Champagne in 11th, and it's still going to be the driver of the 10, and Jake Sylvia in position number 9, as Sylvia going to be that blacked out number 17, and how about that, a statement run, as the Agnell Phillip is going to be the man up front. The 10 leads them down with a baker's dozen remaining, and strategy calls, well, they influence the first part of this race, but right now, their strategy, get up front, no matter what it takes. The biggest move all race long, that first caution, coming down just a few laps before it. I don't think you could have timed it any better, and as it stands, the 35 to 38 lap pit window that we predicted will not come into the equation. And these guys might have used some of their sets of tires so far, and that is going to be a dangerous predicament if these guys burn them up. You can lose some time, can lose some control, but as the sun is setting, and as it already has set here at Daytona, temperatures get lower, and it becomes a bit easier to control a car, even if the tires are worn up, as 3 sets in every driver. And only 3 overtimes are going to be allowed in the case we even get to one. Right now, that does not appear to be in the cards, as that's going to be one messed up truck there of Octavio Rondaletto trying to pass every driver who was out of this race beforehand. He gets up to 30th with this mechanism, and the best he can hope for right now looks to be about 28th on the field, as Dan Shamoon going to be big time on pit road following that second yellow, as Agnell Phillips still going to be leading them through in that number 10 machine. And Agnell just seems to have something going right now. So what are the factors leading into that? Is it teamwork? Is it just a strategy? Or is it all about keeping yourself up front and making sure that everyone behind you stays patient?
It's all about keeping yourself up front and keeping it clean. It looks like a gridlock all the way back to 20th. Campetto is now entered the 16th spot on the inside. He's trying to find a way to the front as fast as he can. As we're coming to 11 laps to go, Nate Stewart, Johnny Delaney, the 27, Jake Matheson, all working together to try to get Nate Stewart clear. Agnell Phillip, Noah Blitz, the 7 of Will Cooley, Matt Danson are all just riding and trying to find cleanness of their cars and trucks, and trying to find and just ride to collect their point.
And how about that? As you can see, it looks like a big blink there from Kyle Pettle as he flickers in and out on our end, and that's not going to be good. That doesn't help you either. You mentioned Pettle as we look up to the front of the pack once again. Agnell there with a great group of drivers working together. But a guy like Pettle is stuck there in the middle of the pack now, and he's flickering. That is not on our end. That is a big maneuver there. It's the 16 machine, not in this one, but the 19 is the one that is blinking. As the 16 now right there behind your race leader. 10 laps to go to kick off this season. It's been an incredible first 70, and now it all comes down to this, so stay tuned. This could be the most exciting segment of the race, and I do believe it will be, because this is when strategy goes out the window. You got to use every single turn to your impact, or rather make an impact that's positive, and use every single turn to do just that. 10 remaining 25 miles of racing here, and they've already gotten about a mile and a quarter through them, as the 10 machine still has that gridlock working in his favor. Looking back there with Joseph Triola, they're still double filed. Nobody's gone 3. It looks like going 3 wide right now, not the move. As you can see back there, Joe Solis, or rather Jose Solis, is going to be holding on as a driver of the 14, the final driver in this pack, with Brad Davies holding for it as well. The 15 that we've seen in the eNASCAR Pro ranks ever since 2010. Right now, looking to make yet another run, and in 2023 now, he is going to be able to fare in the 24th spot, so still has a sort of, not necessarily a cushion, but still has some protection from losing everything tonight, and he's going to be able to hold on quite nicely as Matt Danson there with Jake Matheson. They pass by the 3 and the 5 there, excuse me. As you can see, down to the inside just a bit, and that's going to be a big move for Noah Bitts, and he's going to try to look to the inside and show, hey, maybe I'm going to be the one who takes this lead, and hey, I am here for whatever happens. If you want to take me down for a ride, it looks like that's a signal to Will Cooley. Take me for it. And it looks like it's all about the long run and mental games. But it looks like these physical tires touching the virtual pavement here. It is a short dash. It's all about how you manage your momentum, your movement, and your teamwork to get up front.
It's about coming. We just passed 8 to go mark, as Nate Stewart and John Delaney are still trying to make headway on that outside lane. Jake Matheson in tow right behind John Delaney, and it looks like the 11 car of Chris Reinhardt on the outside pushing Jake Matheson. Agnell Phillip and Noah Blitz are still together, as we have a third lane forming as 11 of Chris Reinhardt blocks, and the 31
Kevin Chapin. How about that? They are moving. You're right about that. So this third line forming, what's it going to mean for these guys?
It means it's the aggression level is just going to get deeper and deeper. As Jake Matheson, as we're 3x3, about that third lane back, as Jake Matheson is on the outside getting pushed by the 11 of Chris Reinhardt and the 26 of John Jenkins and the 13 of Justin R. Smith. And now we're 3x3 as Agnell Phillip Nate Stewart and Jake Matheson are all 3x3 for the first position.
And this is when it gets intense. Leading this race, it is what you want to do, especially this late. And it looks like nobody going to be all too much of a sitting duck. 3 drivers on 3 lanes with 3 equal shots. It's coming to the strike now. Jake Matheson back in the mix here. Matheson looking for this one as he hopes to return to the Pro Series and looking for that $300,000 bonus if he wins that championship. And he is on the move now, trying to make it happen like it is nothing. The driver of that number 27 back out front. Going to try to keep himself in the position there as Nate Stewart now going to be leading that middle, and 3 wide middle is a very challenging position to be in. If you're in the middle anywhere 3 wide, it's always very delicate. You got to really push yourself to the limit and get yourself in a perfect mental situation. If any slip up happens, you're going to be going all the way down through the bottom of this field, just like that. Matheson, though, is a Daytona ace. When he debuted on the scene in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series in 2021 for Williams Esports, he finished 3rd on debut at Daytona. His best finish in the series is a 2nd, but that debut at Daytona put the scene on notice. And now he's looking to make sure that his Daytona prowess is not underestimated. As you can see, barreling down the back straightaway once again, the super stretch here. The 27 Matheson makes his move once again and fights to keep himself alive. As Nate Stewart there with Agnell Phillip, 3 wide, they're still moving, and it is absolute gridlock here, and it could turn to bedlam here at the beach, as it's going to be 3 with some tire smarts, as it is still the 19 machine that we focused on beforehand. Kyle Pettit having some internet issues, as it becomes 4 laps remaining, and they're 3x3x3. White, what's going on?
4 laps remaining as we are still 3x3x3 as Jake Matheson and Chris Murray are trying to get this outside working. Nate Stewart and Jonathan Laney are still pushing. He's going to be able to, has the temperature to be able to get this outside lane cleared onto the inside lane. Now, the 31 truck of Kevin Chapin is looking to be able to help this outside lane really, as Jake Matheson gets a really big run. He's not going to be able to clear, and Nate Stewart, as I know Phillip on that inside lane, prevails, but Nate Stewart is going to be able to get that run.
And there we have it, the run being put into motion for Nate Stewart in that 3rd position for now, but now he's going to be able to lead them down to the stripe. Nate Stewart gets that lead lap, and now he's got him in 3 laps remaining, and this could be it. It's going to be 3x3x3, as we mentioned beforehand. You actually mentioned something critical, temperature. These guys, if they push too hard, get too hot, they will blow up their motors, and it could become a sacrificial offering for the guys on the outside line, because while Matheson gets so much of a run down that outside line, because the momentum persists from the banking that he transfers off of, it might not work out overall, as he just tries to keep himself in the motion. He gets dead even with the leaders there on the outside line coming through the back straightaway, but it just doesn't keep him there through the turns. He falls back not 1 but 2 car lengths on the race leader, no matter who it ends up being, as still Agnell Phillip has the edge with Noah Bitts in 2nd, and Nate Stewart could be now in position number 2 as they run down the stripe with 2 laps remaining for the World Series of Racing. 5 miles to do it, and this could be it. And if I'm thoughts before we get into this one, because this is certainly when aggression hits its peak.
Yeah, it's 2 laps remaining. It's about pushing your truck, trying to get every position you get, every point. As the 28 car is clear on that 3rd lane, as he moves up, he's going to take the run, as Nate Stewart's not going to have anyone behind him. The 28 car may get cleared as Agnell Phillips getting pushed by Noah Blitz into turn 3 and 4. As the 28 car, John Delaney, gets clear in front of Nate Stewart, he is going to have a shot. Jake Matheson and the 11 car run as we come off of turn 4 to hit the white flag.
And the white flag will be out this time by, and the race hitting its most intense point as it's Delaney leading them down with 1 lap to go. They will make it. No green, white, chicken allowed. But it's going to be Delaney spinning immediately. Big wreck already, and they're all turning around. 1 lap to go. Jake Matheson leads, and we'll check back on that one later. But this is the here, and this is the now. 500 feet at most from the checkered flag. They were, and now they're going to be able to make it happen, as I do believe 500 feet from the white flag. They took it, and then and they wrecked. And this is when it gets intense. Everyone's going to be able to go bobbling back and forth. You can see Kyle Pettle in the mix there, the 25 there as well. Kevin Champagne still in it, and it's going to be Agnell Phillip with Nate Stewart side by side. They're holding on. Pettle blinks. The 7 machine of Will Cooley going to try to play it cool once again. Noah Bitts going to be in the outside line. He's pushing with Nate Stewart. Stewart to the inside. Agnell Phillip on the outside of the middle. And
Agnell Phillip.
3 wide they almost were, and Agnell Phillip gets it on the middle, and he played strategy A+ from the lap we went green. Agnell comes home on top, the 10 in first position, and Nate Stewart in second, Noah Bitts in third, and Agnell Phillip starts off the season right, the first winner in the Road to Pro qualifying series, second split here at Daytona International Speedway, and heartbreak for the driver of the 28 machine there. And how about that, as it is a big incident for Jonathan Delaney just a minute ago on the racing surface. As you can see, this was about a lap beforehand, and we will take it up to when the incident occurred and see what caused it, as this is the incident just before one lap to go, and you can see he just gets swirly there, and this is when it all falls apart. Tries to block the inside line and gets caught by the 10, and Delaney goes for a wild ride from there, and there's nothing that can be done. Hits the number 1 machine of Danson, gets in the 6, and it's going to be a big spin for the 21 as well, and these guys in the back get pro racing, the best of the best, able to hold on in style and keep themselves in contention like it's nothing, and the work up front second to none as we look at this replay once again. Wyatt, from your perspective as a driver, how was it to make it happen?
It really just looks like Agnell Phillip was able to capitalize on Jonathan Delaney clear on Agnell Phillip. It just looks like he was just able to capitalize on it and get a run down the backstretch. And there was an opening off of turn 2, and he was just able to get a run with no blitz and just get side by side, and Nate Stewart and the black truck behind him just didn't have enough run to be able to stop them at all.
And how about that? Nate Stewart in the waiting room right now. Looks like he found his way into the server here. And we'll get a word from the driver who finished in the second position, runner-up to start the Road to Pro season here. And what a way to begin it. Oh, so close to the victory. Nate Stewart, how do you feel after this one? Second of the night.
Oh, damn, man. I'm extremely pumped up after this. I really thought we had a shot there coming off 4, but unfortunately, Jake didn't stay with us. And I mean, Agnell and Noah worked together extremely well all night long. I wasn't able to clear them on the outside, no matter how hard John was pushing me. But yeah, I mean, it's good to have Daytona not be in the drop week, man. I'll tell you that right now. This is my best finish in a RTP super speedway race. So second to start off season and second split nonetheless. That's an extremely big confidence booster in my eyes.
Now, Nate, how did
let you go from here?
Now, Nate, how did you be able to get through the field and just stay up there and be able to be consistent with it throughout the race and avoid the carnage that happened early on?
Yeah, well, we qualified third. We had a really, really fast Q set. I knew it was fast. I didn't think it was that fast, though. So it just kind of stayed up there all I could, and then, we had a couple big incidents, which I was fortunate enough to stay up in front of, and really, I had a feeling being in, like, middle to the back wasn't a good plan tonight. I just needed to stay up front and try to get as much traction as possible, because I mean, you guys saw it was extremely hard to pass. The pack was very gridlocked tonight, so yeah, it was just a combination of a fast set, and for that entire last run, I had John Delaney behind me, and if it wasn't for him shoving me this entire last run, I wouldn't have been able to stay up here. So fast set, John shoving me until pretty much the white flag, and I hate that he got turned, man. That sucks, but he was just trying to get to the bottom, which I can't blame him for. yeah, just track position was the biggest thing, and I made damn sure I kept it.
Yeah, did you want go ahead?
Absolutely. Now, absolutely a great race here at Daytona, but the remainder of the season coming up soon. So, Las Vegas, I believe, is going to be the next event in 2 weeks' time. So, getting prepped for that with all this momentum, how is it going to be going into there?
Yeah, Vegas is one of my better tracks. I really enjoy Las Vegas. I've already started testing and getting prepped for that because you need to test for Daytona, but you don't need to test a whole lot. But I've already been testing and stuff and getting ready for it. I should more than likely have my new VRS wheel hooked up by then, so that'll be the first true run on it, and we'll see what happens then. I've won at Vegas and RTP before, back in 2021 when I was with Lowline Racing. I was way down in ninth split, but I mean, hey, a Road to Pro win, still a Road to Pro win. So I definitely know how to put it in victory lane at Vegas, and uh, you know, coming into the night, I was thinking, just finish, get some points, and then later on, I was like, man, I want to win this, and then, that just fueled the fire in the belly for Vegas, especially since I know how to win there. I definitely think I'll have a fairly decent shot in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, and you just proved yourself and had a really good race, Nate. Do you have anything else to say? Sponsors or anything like that?
Yeah, I want to give a huge, huge shout out to Rise Esports. They're letting me represent them in the eNASCAR qualifying series this year. That means a lot that they picked me to represent them. And thanks to all their partners, Sunoco, Marconi Setup Shop, Logitech, SimSeeds, just everyone involved, JDR Graphics. Um, then on to my more personal sponsors, myself, Apex Action Photography. I do iRacing photos, Digital Chumps, right, game, movie reviews, Rexford Engineering, Corey, who was my spotter and crew chief tonight. He does button boxes and stuff. I have one sitting right here that I use. It's great. Uh, Speed Visions. John makes extremely good paint schemes, and another shout out to Trey Patton for spotting me all throughout tonight. He was extremely calm and was able to keep me calm throughout the race. And thanks to you guys for stepping up and taking on broadcasting second split. I wasn't sure if I was going to be in here tonight, but P2 and second split is, a huge, huge confidence boost, even if it is Daytona.
And how about that? Rise Esports rising to the occasion. Nate Stewart in the number 25 machine. And what a performance here in second split. And a lot of momentum to go into the next one. It is the driver of the 25. Once again, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And there we have it, Nate Stewart in the number 25 as we get the next driver, and that will be the 11th position finisher on the night in Justin Smith. Number 13, how are you feeling after this one? A long haul, and you come home just short of the top 10.
I'm just glad to come away with a clean truck, to be honest. We were really fast. Me and John stuck together there for a long time, and we just could never get it rolling on the top line. Somebody would throw a block, and there was a lot of damaged trucks up there, so it was just hard to get anything going.
And it was a very, very tough challenge for some of these guys to make momentum work, but you're able to hold it on quite consistently as the night went on. So how was it holding on lap after lap with the strategy being up in the air for some of these guys and eventually making yourself home just up front, just outside the top 10 yourself?
Yeah, I mean, the strategy went good for the guys that pit early. We had considered it a little bit. Some of the other guys we were working with were farther back in the pack with me and John running 1-2, so we didn't want to break off and be too far away and end up screwing ourselves. But when that caution came out, we kind of lost all of our track position and really just never got it back. We were fine with riding around mid-pack there for the middle part of the race. And of course, right there at the end, just trying to get everything we can, just trying to move. Just doing all we could. Had a couple blinkers in there that made it a little difficult, but like I said, I'm happy to come away with a clean truck. It's a lot better start than I had last year.
Yeah, and how does you and John getting the front row really benefit to y'all, and how did you really do good for your race?
Well, I mean, you could just kind of see how important track position was there, right? Like when we were up front, it was really hard to pass us around the outside. when John was up top, he finally got a good run and got in front of me. And obviously, we have some really fast EPI trucks, and I mean, I really wasn't even having to push him that hard. I mean, I was just bubble pushing, and nobody could get around us. So it is. It's just really important to have track position, and wish we could have held on to it for the entirety of the race. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Do you have any sponsors or anything that you would like to thank?
Yeah, Elite Performance Industries. Do a great job. Sell some really awesome sets. Put us in the best trucks available. I want to thank Conti. Had him on the box tonight. It was really nice to have him up there, just giving me a little bit of direction and keeping us calm. And also Adam Benefiel, he was on John's box, and we were all just in the same call, just kind of hanging out there. So it was nice having those guys calling the shots, handling, checking the boxes and whatnot. And my painter, Aiden Kirker, he does a great job on my paints. They always look great. But yeah, that's all I got.
And what a way to go out there. The driver of the number 13, Justin Smith, pole position, and able to translate it with a nice and smooth finish to head into the remainder of the season, 11th on the night. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.
There we have it. That is Justin Smith, and we will get on to your race result. A great bunch of drivers here tonight, as it looks like, unfortunately, the guys up front, including your race winner, Agnell Phillip, not available for comment. But still, let's show you your result for tonight's event. 35 drivers took to the field here, and what about that one? We're going to get through your 35 here tonight, and a great group of drivers to finish this show off. As you can see the finish once again on your screen, Agnell Phillip comes home at the top of the board in split 2 with some ace action, as Agnell Phillips wins by 41 thousandths of a second over Nate Stewart, and Noah bits 63 thousandths off himself. Jake Sylvia leads ex-Coke driver Jake Matheson in 5th, and Will Cooley in 6th, with Chris Wilhite in 7th and Kyle Peddle in position number 8. Kevin Champagne had the damaged truck all night long, came home in 9th, as John Jenkins came home in 10th, and pole sitter Justin Smith came home in 11th, with David Robinson in 12th, and Matt Kemp in 13th, Dustin Montgomery P14, and Dallas Parasaka in position 15. Devin Hall 16th, Jonathan Delaney in 17th, and Kenny Hump in 18th, as Matt Danson was in 19th, and Joseph Troya was in 20th. And now I'm going to hand it over to Wyatt for the remainder of the grid and remainder of the finishing results.
Yeah, as Jose Solis Jr. comes out in 21st, Steele Langford in 22nd, Casey Kelly in 23rd, Brad Davies in 24th, Clayton Hoffman 25th, Eugene Moshka in 26th, Ethan Lane 27th, Dan Chamoon 28th, Zeke Willis 29th, and Octavio Ronaldo rounds out into your 30th position. The last 5 drivers that finished 31st to 35th is Matthew Badby, Logan Kress, Larson Peel, Santiago Gutierrez, and Ashton Crowder is the last driver.
And 35 took to the track tonight, and we saw some action, and glad to be aboard with Wyatt Tinsley, of course, for the drivers, and of course the viewers tuning in after tonight's event. Wyatt Tinsley alongside myself, David Kreutz, in the booth. And Wyatt, before we finish this one off, any final thoughts for an incredible race that we saw here at the World Center of Racing?
Nothing that I noticed, but it was just an exciting race, a lot more entertaining than last year's was. I just wish we'd keep it a little bit clean, and hopefully Vegas would be just as good.
And we are hoping to see you all at Vegas again. We will be live with Vegas, and I believe that broadcast will be led by Alexander Balderas as he leads the crew on Fireball Talks NASCAR on a stacked Thursday night. 2 weeks from now, Las Vegas, and we hope to see guys like Agnell come back to the front of the field and perhaps keep up the momentum as we finish off tonight's broadcast. In the World Center of Racing, proving to show that the stars of the future take it from here as we see a new race winner in Split 2 to start this one off, and Nate Stewart rising from 9th Split 2 years ago to make himself in 2nd, and new faces rise to the occasion. They all hope to challenge for the Coca-Cola Series and a $300,000 title sponsorship at the tail end. As no, we actually have one more interview, and it will be Agnell himself, as the driver of the number 10 machine is in here, and we will get him into your waiting room as we speak. And we will try to get a word with the driver who ended up on the top of the board tonight. And it looks like we already have a read on the man who came home in the first position tonight. How about the run? Number 10, you get it done. Position number 1, and the winner of the first race in Split 2 this season, Agnell Phillip, position number 1. The floor is yours. How do you feel?
I feel great. I think I was working with some of the guys from Lockdown Racing in this race, and I think we did a really good job of kind of controlling a lot of that race, and I think credit to everybody else that we kept it so clean on that last run up until probably the last lap. But I haven't even gone back and really looked at how I got into the middle there after kind of getting shuffled. I don't know, but it was a great run, great way to start off the season. Really, the goal always is at these plate tracks is to not have it be your drop, and it's definitely not going to be the drop. So that's good news.
And able to avoid the drop week immediately, and you play that strategy perfect. The first caution caught a lot of guys out, did not catch you, and about 5 drivers, and that just kept you up front from there on out. So how was it playing strategy? And it eventually led to you getting up top. So what was it working with the fuel strategy, the fuel window, and maybe even tires?
It was interesting. I think there weren't a lot of like clear answers on exactly what to do. I think we wanted to try and get on a certain strategy compared to some of the other guys, and then that caution actually threw us for a bit of a loop. I think we didn't know if we wanted to come in and top off or stay out. And I just in these races, I think you minimize your chances for bad things to happen by staying in front of it all. So that's what we and the group that I was running with, that's what we decided to do. So we kind of took it from there and really just tried to control the lines, control the runs, and try to make sure that one of us could bring it home. I got a little sloppy on my end a little bit there at the end. I hate that Delaney spun out there, but I think for the most part we executed as well as we could have.
Yeah,
And
and
certainly execution, the way to go. Why? My apologies. Floor is yours as well.
you just drove a really great race, Agno. You were up front the whole time. You were taking the 2-stop strategy, pitting early, making hopefully to really get time up on the main pack. And then you just ultimately got a caution, and it was able to keep that track position for the majority of the race and be there at the end and execute.
Yeah. I mean, that was once we got the track position and kind of that extra stop, the fuel became, pretty simple. From there, it was just about keeping that track position. I mean, you saw, and I'm sure you remember from running this last year. There's not a lot of movement going on in the pack, right? Like at the end of the day, you can try and maybe make the third line work, but if you're stuck on the bottom, you're kind of stuck on the bottom. So it really became key for all of us to try and make sure that we were keeping as many of the trucks that were working together near the front, and we did. And that was, ultimately what got us the win.
Yeah. Do you have any sponsors or anything you'd like to thank?
No sponsors. I'm not entirely sure how that would work with where I work, but I have to thank the guys at A51 Pro, my team. We're small but mighty, and I've gotten a pretty good assist here working with Lockdown in the last 6 months to a year. So got to thank the guys over there. We worked really closely on the sets, and I'm really excited for what we can do going forward. I think we've got some good tracks for us coming up, so looking forward to it.
And I'm looking forward to it indeed. Starting this season off with a bang. Far from whimper, Agno Phillip in the 10 machine comes home as the first winner in Split 2 in the eNASCAR iRacing Road to Pro qualifying series. You have put yourself on the map tonight. Great race, and thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you.
There we have it, the driver who comes home on top. It is Agno, and that will conclude our broadcast. Position number 1, split number 2, and these incredible drivers, ex-Coke, ex-professionals, and a few guys on the scene, newcomers alike, flashing with the old, as we said beforehand, and it looks like the new wave taking over as we see a sea of incredible racers coming out on top as we look forward to Las Vegas in 2 weeks' time. We got to thank every single viewer who came in for tonight's broadcast. A great race with chaos, drama, and at the end of the day, a great, clean finish. And we hope to see you all in 2 weeks' time as we broadcast the iRacing qualifying series for the Road to Pro ladder once again at Las Vegas, same time, so save the date. We will be back. We thank all of you once again for watching. For David Kreutz, myself in the commentary and production box, and Wyatt Tinsley, Coca-Cola iRacing Series driver and co-commentator and special analyst for tonight's event, we thank you all. I hope you have a great night live on FTN, and we will see you whenever we are live once more.